Good night to each and every one of you once again in Georgetown, Guyana. I know on the two previous videos that I do 1 and 2, you'd reflect very bad image and you will say that George Karai is either corrupt, stupid, dumb, a fool, ignorant, or maybe he himself is a racist. Now, let me make it clear to you. I'm a mixed race. I cannot afford to be on one side or the other because I'm the one who stands in the middle. But judging from the 6 major races in Georgetown, Guyana, as they call it, one people, one nation, one destiny. Let me make it clear. There is no such thing as one people, one nation, one destiny in Guyana. It is not a pure race of East Indian race or Chinese or white or, I will say, blacks alone. There are 6 different nationalities. The 10 tribes, which is the Amerindian, the Portuguese, the Chinese, the East Indian, and the Africans, which are yourself, as you call yourself black, like we call the Indian Coolie, which is a bad word that we all use, but nevertheless, this is Guyanese talk anyway, but factual for the world today as we are going forward in the most educated way for the 21st century. The history that I'm giving to you, that I can answer any question on behalf of our political heritage and history. And this is what I want you, the blacks, not to take it out of context, but to analyze what I'm saying and study it. Yes, you might say that you are not racial, but I don't think you understand the meaning of racism. How can you explain, all of you actually, in the military are 90-something%, in the police force the same thing. And many civil servants' jobs now are starting to change. How can you explain during the time of the late Fars Barnum government, the advantage that was taken upon Indo-Guyanese, as you call yourself Indo-Guyanese in the country also, and the other race who migrate to Canada, America, and elsewhere. It's only till come the 1980s, the late 80s, when the late Walter Rodney come to the surface, have changed the political dynamism of the country and show a new brand of leadership. And then Guyanese, East Indian, as we say, Coolie, get to understand that within the black population, there are some intelligent ones, very dedicated for the rights of all humanity. Walter Rodney, Owini, Dublin, Mrs. Harris, and many, many more in the WPA, with the help of Yossi Guyana, a great founder of the PPP and the PNC alike, who, as you all know, as Sidney King, changed his name to Yossi Guyana. Now, these men were dedicated for a cause, not because of black people, Chinese or Portuguese, Indian, but as human beings living on the planet Earth. Fars Barnum was concerning about power. According to the Ebony magazine, during his time of reign in power, he was the 2nd richest black man in the entire universe. He even banned the paper from the market and other places that were selling it, the magazine. And for you who don't understand that, check your history and you will see what I'm talking about. There were many great leaders in the African descendant, as we phrase the word black, who stand up against Barnum, and they all suffer. You had Omar Wali, the late Rodney, Owini, Kawama, not forgetting a young girl by the name of D'Souza, Karen D'Souza, Miss Harris, and many, many more, and Diane, all these people, they had made a difference. They have bring the nation together. Then is when East Indian race realizing, instead of painting every black person with the same brush, they're realizing that there were people amongst them who make a difference. Yes, the PNC racism was on the move. And then we have seen a lot of changes around Guyana. You had to get a PNC card before you get a job. Young Indian women had to have sex before they get a job, or birth certificate. And anything I'm telling you here is what I'm aware of. And for an example, Indian had no voice. When they walked through American Street, Dublin Street, Water Street, Campbellville, Kitty anyway, blacks would walk up to them and snatch the chain off their women's neck. They cannot report it to the police. Now, I'm not saying all you black people out there was taking the action, because some stand up for principle, decency, and the credibility of being another human like themselves. But the majority under Barnum reign was using racism as a matter of exploitation towards a country. But my fellow citizens, it is time for a change. Burnham had betrayed you. Desmond Hyde came up and he made a few changes. After Burnham banned everything from the country, Desmond Hyde uplift the ban, thanks to people like myself and others who pressure him in America to do so. But nevertheless, he done it. He opened up the gateway back. The only thing I did not like about him was a very powerful speech that used by Burnham. Two, whenever he get protests or demonstration against him, or the Indian opposition, which was the late Chetty Jagan, speak out against him, his phrase was just like Burnham: he will lose the dog of war. And that's what he's talking about, the dogs of war, which maybe is the GDF and the police force all black. Then the other one he will say is slow fire, more fire. These are not leaders. These are words for pirates, warriors. Leaders must be polite. Yes, they can be aggressive, but they must be more diplomatic. And that is what take away the leadership ability from Mr. Hyde. And as you know, and I know you will stifle your conscience and don't want to admit the truth, but False Burnham was not a leader. Chetty Jagan was not a leader. And don't think for 1 minute they have done any good for Guyana, and you call him the father of Guyana. If you want to name a father, name Coffee, the statue that stand not too far from the Botanic Garden, next to Burnham House that he built, or the President Palace across from there, the office. That might be the father of civilization for Guyana, who fought against his master, his tyrant masters that once slaved his family and enslaved them. But all the rest who came after them was opportunists. Where are your union leaders? Are they representing you or themselves? I want you to analyze carefully. I am not a racist. I love Guyana as much as you, and would like to see Indian and black unite together, and other races, and carry the country forward. I wanted to make it clear that you must understand. These politicians you have in the parliament, they are not on your side. They make and vote in a constitution to deny all Guyanese the rights who live out of Guyana from coming to run for president unless you live 7 years in the country. Barrett Jagdeo was given a scholarship according to our information and sent to Moscow to study, or wherever, was paid by the money of the taxpayer. Why he become the president? And the Ramkaran family and the Chetty's family, they were given great opportunity, even though they were fighting the PNC. So all these people are friends. Who you got? The color of your skin, your hair, the language? No. Always remember, you can turn this thing around. What about your children, your sons, your daughters, your grandsons, your granddaughter? Think of it. Look at your politician them. You think they know you? They only know you when it's an election time. Now, you have armed policemen and military who's supposed to swear by the badge to carry out the mission and do the right thing. Police are making some facetious news against innocent people, locking them up wrongfully, taking bribe and deny justice. And they're passing them through the court, locking up innocent people, even raping to and giving their guns to criminals to rob people from Burnham time. It's still happening now. I'm not going to call names. I know a lot of them. Call the information. The military, who's supposed to defend the country from anything, take advantage on innocent women also by raping them, black women, Indian women, and others. And what are you doing about it? Nothing. But this is the way of life, you say. It happened in other countries, so it's hard to happen in yours. I want to tell you as a civilized human being, let's stand up and put an end to this nonsense. It has to stop. And we can able to pull Guyana forward and be reckoned and come to in the world as we are living in. Nobody around the world respect us, because the two major parties are fleecing the country. And now you have AFC with them. They're all together, man. One from the PNC, two from the PPP, and maybe some from the WPA. But fellow citizens, it is up to you to make a difference. I can only tell you what I think and what I see and what I feel. But let's work together. Put a good leader, could be your son, could be your daughter, could be your brother, could be your sister. Because Guyana belongs to all of us, not just a few of us. So everything I leave up to you, my friends.